So Tomhawk has moved the ball their last couple of possessions, but it ultimately has not led to any points. Biggest play of the game so far for Tomhawk was a quarterback keeper by Wenninger on their last possession. Here's a mishandle of the snap, and that cost him, as Auburndale was quick to get in the backfield that time. U-Paddle with the quarterback sack. U-Paddle is a 6'2", 305-pound senior for the Auburndale Apaches. And he put all of his weight on Wenninger that time after Wenninger mishandled the snap. Wenninger, quick handoff. And not much doing for Bedminster. Leading rusher coming into this ball game for Tomhawk. So that will be 3rd and 13. Ball's at the 26-yard line of Auburndale as the clock continues to tick. 6:30 left to go here in the first half. Shotgun for Wenninger. 4 wide receiver set. Back to pass. Pass out to Bedminster. It's caught. Turns the corner. And a nice gain that time by Bedminster on the catch out in the right flat. So we'll see here. I think that pass, what that pass did is probably put Tomhawk in a position where they're going to go for this 4th down. It's to be like 4th and 2 or 3 for Tomhawk. Wenninger looking for the play, looking for the decision. Weissman will check back in for Tomhawk. Auburndale believes that this is going to be a punt, and Wenninger is back to punt now for Tomhawk. Watch out for the fake punt here at the 40 or the 37-yard line. Here's Wenninger, puts a foot into it, and this is a beautiful punt. Way back. Weister will let this ball bounce inside of the 24-yard line, and that's where it's going to be down. So a very nice putt by Wenninger that time. Flips the field for Auburndale, and Auburndale will take over with 5:56 left to go in the first half. We'll be back to Auburndale High School right after this.
My name is Marissa, and I just finished my junior year in college. It's time for me to buy my first car before I start my senior year and before I start my career search. I clicked on an ad for Wheelers and found a car that was in my budget. I contacted the dealership and they emailed me an appointment for test drive. Test drive day is here. The sales staff was helpful and made sure I was comfortable learning about the car. It only took a few minutes and my credit application was approved. Just a couple of quick signatures and a payment I can afford. My first time buying a car, and it was so simple.
Back after the commercial break, and there is Weister again. Every time we come back from commercial, Weister's running free, and that time Weister gets a big positive run, and he comes up a little bit gimpy on the tackle. Gets the ball out to about the 41-yard line, so a 20-yard plus run there for Weister. So first down for the Apaches. Trayton Weister's on his way to a career night tonight, 20-0 as the clock continues to tick at 5:40 left to go here in the first half. Pawn is the wide receiver lined up to the right. 2-back set with Weinfurter under center. Weinfurter is back to pass. Fakes the pass, now rolls to his left, and he's got running room. He turns the corner. He's got first down yardage and more inside the 40-yard line of Tomahawk. Nice run that time for Cooper Weinfurter. It's nice to have their starting quarterback back tonight. Opens up the playbook a little bit for Coach Anderson, and he's taking advantage. Cooper Weinfurter with a nice rollout that time. That was definitely a planned pass, but nothing was open, and Weinfurter took advantage of a lot of open space. Handoff to Marth. As Marth is kind of the bruising back for Auburndale and carries the pile forward for about a gain of 4 or 5. Second down and 5 for the Apaches. Again, up 20-0. 5 minutes left to go now in the first half. And up by 20, we'll see if Coach Anderson might want to work in some more pass plays and try to get that part of his offense going a little bit. Had a lot of success with Weister in the backfield, and that's where he's lined up, right behind Marth again. Pawn is the wide receiver, lined up to the right. 2nd and 5. Here's a pass out to Pawn. What a great pass and what a great catch. Pawn breaks a tackle, touchdown. Beautiful fade route that time by Pawn, and just an excellent pass by Cooper Weinfurter. Could not have placed it any better. Coverage was not bad at all by Gersberger down the right sidelines, but that was an excellent score for the Auburndale Apaches. Another touchdown. 35-yard touchdown pass by Weinfurter to Pawn. Two-point conversion attempt now for Auburndale. 2 receivers off to the right. And here's a handoff right up the middle. Nice run that time. Great blocking by the offensive line as Dylan Pawn will carry it in. So he attributes for all 7 points on that touchdown. And that pushes the score to 28-0 for the Auburndale Apaches with 4:28 left to go in the first half. We'll be right back to Auburndale High School after this.
Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated, bringing you fresh cheese curds made daily, along with many other varieties of Wisconsin-made cheeses and treats. Don't forget to check out our cheese and sausage trays for your upcoming parties and cheese and sausage gift packages for the holiday season or any other special occasion. Nasonville Dairy, located just southwest of Marshfield on U.S. Highway 10, NasonvilleDairy.com. Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated.
Back to Auburndale High School, 28-0. Auburndale Apaches on top of Tomahawk. As the first half is starting to wind down, 4:29 left to go. It's been the running attack of Auburndale that's really caused problems. However, they scored a beautiful 35-yard touchdown pass on that last possession. Pawn with the reception from Weinfurter. Here's Bedminster, big return. Nice tackle by the Auburndale special teams player there at midfield. Probably saved a touchdown, but a big return by the Tomahawk player. Don't have him on my roster, but it was a nice run back. So Tomahawk will have their best starting position of the night as they start inside of Auburndale Apache territory, 47-yard line.
Once again, folks, don't forget to get in on the 50-50 raffle. That drawing is going to happen pretty soon here, so get your tickets now.
Other games on the network tonight on the Zaleski Sports On Focus Sports Network: Marshfield versus Spash and Stratford versus Marengo. At last report, Marshfield was on top of Spash. We'll see if we can get an updated score for you coming up in just a little bit. And an update on the Brewers score. If you're like me, you're watching the Brewers scores very closely this time of year, and the Brewers are up 3-0 over Pittsburgh in the bottom of the second inning.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Cubs playing Cincinnati. The Cubs up by 1.5 games over the Brewers coming into play tonight, and they are 0-0 in the third inning against Cincinnati. So here's Tomahawk, 2nd down and 10 after a short run play. Here's a handoff to Scholes, and Scholes is wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Was wondering if Scholes is going to get some more attempts here, as he had one attempt earlier in the game, and that was a very nice run. Score from the Stratford Marengo game. Marengo is actually up 27-0. and actually an injured player on the field right now, we understand, and that player is being stretchered off, so hopefully nothing serious there, just precautions. Is that 7-6? Yep. Okay, Spash is leading Marshfield 7-6 in that game. Here's a pass down the field, showing some nice arm strength that time, but overshot his intended wide receiver. Wenninger was looking for Shablonsky. Yeah, you never like to see what's happening up in Stratford, as we have eyes and ears everywhere, but player is being carted off up there, so again, let's hope for the best. 4th down. Wenninger back to punt again. And we've got whistles and flags everywhere. Let's see what the flag is all about, if this is going to be second life for Tomahawk or if it's going to push him back a little bit. Again, Tomahawk came into this game 2-2 on the year. They had wins earlier this year. They knocked off Rhinelander, actually, in one of their first games of the year, and they also beat Shiocton. Then they lost 55-0 against Edgar, although a lot of teams will lose by big margins against Edgar this year, and 49-7 versus Stratford. But tonight it's been all Auburndale looking to get their first win of the season on Parents' Night. Here's Wenninger. Now it's going to be a pooch punt again, and it's a shorter punt. Takes a very advantageous bounce for Tomahawk and rolls, looks like it's inside the 20-yard line. And that's where Auburndale will take over, looking to get another positive possession with 2:36 left to go in this first half.
The cross-country team was in action this week.
Again, the scores we got from the other games that we're covering tonight. Spash on top of Marshfield, 7-6. And Marengo on top of Stratford, 27-0. Marengo, again, is a, I guess you call it a far western suburb of Chicago, down more towards the Rockford area in Illinois. Weinfurter, handoff, Weister, wrapped up quickly by Cole Feast. And looking at the roster for both these teams, Tomahawk's roster a lot smaller than Auburndale's. Auburndale's got quite a few players, although a lot of underclassmen playing. Tomahawk has a very short roster. And, again, some underclassmen on this roster as well. That, when you talk to coaches, that's how it's going around kind of rural Wisconsin now, is a lot of teams that have typically put together big football programs are struggling to get kids to go out. 2nd and 9. Weinfurter, pass is caught by the wide receiver for the Apaches. That's Carter Wilcott. And that will move the chains.
He gets it out to the 41-yard line.
End of third quarter, Stratford is losing to Marengo, 27-0. That game at Stratford. So they're through 3 quarters there. We're just about done with our second quarter here. Weinfurter back to pass. Here's a pass downfield looking for Pawn, and that ball is overthrown. Not on the same page that time was Pawn and Weinfurter.
Erica Zanner came in 7th. Vanessa Mitchell came in 6th. Macy Schneiser was 4th. Isabella Jewell was 3rd. And McKenna Zier was 2nd. That is a total team score of a whopping 22 points for the girls cross country team as they won the meet.
I believe this is 2nd down and 10 at the 41-yard line for Auburndale. Minute 30 left to go in the first half. Here's a screen set up. There's Weister. Oh, breaks one tackle. Now look at him go. He's got first down yardage. Oh, and Weister on that tackle was upended and flipped over. It looks like he's going to be okay as he landed on his helmet that time, but man, Weister was dead to rights. That was literally almost a shoestring tackle that time as the Tomahawk player was hanging on for dear life, but Weister was able to break that tackle and get a first down run. Big 10-yard run. And actually, looks like we might have a timeout on the field, so we'll take a timeout as well. You're listening and watching to high school football on the Zaleski on Focus Sports Network. 1:19 left to go in the first half. 28-0, Auburndale on top of Tomahawk.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Partners Bank, better together. Partners Bank, better together.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Partners Bank, better.
Back to Auburndale High School. Auburndale ball, 1st and 10. Ball just across midfield as the Apaches looking for another score. Here's a very patient run by Dylan Pawn, and it's going to be a first down run as he still is on his feet. And now the pile keeps moving forward. What a run by Pawn, with an assist to everybody else on the Apaches team. 1:06 left to go, and Auburndale wants to line up quickly. 15-yard run.
First down for the Apaches.
Now Pawn is lined up in the backfield, single back set with Weinfurter back to pass. He's looking deep. Here's another fade route down. Weister off his fingertips.
Weinfurter's pass just off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Weister. Incomplete, 2nd down.
Weinfurter looks good back there throwing the ball. Keeps the ball high, nice release, and that one was not a bad pass. Weister, I think, misjudged it just a little bit and went off his fingertips down the right-hand side, or else that could have been a receiving touchdown to add to his 3 rushing touchdowns tonight, including rushes of 137 and 70 yards. So what a night, what a first half for Weister. 54 seconds left to go in the half. Here's a handoff to Weister. Left side, breaks a tackle. We've got a flag that's probably in the area holding. So a gain of 5 by Weister, but I believe that's going to be negated by a hold. And Auburndale's moving back as if that's exactly the case. Hold against Auburndale. So that's going to push Auburndale way back to the 40-yard line.
Will Lau's favorite memory is I came to Auburndale in the fall of 2017, my first year.
So 2nd and 20 now for the Apaches.
Let's make it a memorable one.
2nd and 18, exactly. Fake handoff, pass is caught by the Auburndale Apache receiver. That's Wilcott, breaks a tackle down the left side, inside the 5, and he's wrapped up. A quick slant that time by Wilcott off the fake handoff, and Weinfurter hit him in stride, and that let Wilcott break free.
30 or more on that reception. Timeout, Auburndale.
Auburndale will take a timeout as they're inside the 4-yard line. 40 seconds left to go in the first half. 28-0 Apaches over Tomahawk.
Chili Implement, located just north of Highway 10 in Chili, is your place for Kubota zero-turn mowers. If your lawn is big or small, we have all the lawn care solutions for you. Check out our 60-inch deck. Kubota powerful, precise, proven. Chili Implement is your choice for Kubota, Case IH, and Gale. Chili Implement, open 6 days a week to serve you. Chili Implement.
Back to Auburndale High School. Auburndale looking to put an exclamation point on this great first half as they have the ball inside the Tomahawk 5-yard line. Actually, it's right at the 6-yard line for Tomahawk. First and goal to goal with 40 seconds left on the clock. Auburndale has had a lot of success tonight with 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 pass reception for a touchdown, a 35-yard strike from Weinfurter to Pawn. Kind of unusual weather for September. Not that unusual, I guess, but 80-some degrees at kickoff tonight and a lot of humidity in the air. Weinfurt under center. He's got Pawn in the backfield. Fake handoff. Rolling to his right. Weinfurter looking end zone wide open. Is Cody Trowbridge. Another touchdown. 2 receiving touchdowns tonight, 2 passing touchdowns, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Seven to 6. We're kind of taking a look at the Spash Marshfield score. Marshfield ranked number 9 of the state in Division I, I believe. And they're currently trailing Spash 7 to 6 with 126 left to go in the second quarter. So here's bad snap that time. Marth's kick is up and still it's good. Nice job by the holder, a nice job by Marth to punch that extra point through as Auburndale takes a commanding 35-0 lead with 32 seconds left to go in the first half.
Another senior memory from Travis Goats, making it to the second round of the playoffs my junior year.
Again, the scores we're following tonight. Marengo of Illinois is beating Stratford up in Stratford, 27-0 at the end of 3. Spash on top of Marshfield by 1, 7-6 as that game is headed towards halftime very soon. But it looks like Marshfield might have the ball, and they're moving the ball with just a few minutes left to go, or a minute or so left to go in that ball game in the first half. Milwaukee Brewers on top of the Pirates tonight as they start that weekend series. 3-0. That ball game being played down at Miller Park. And also good news, Chicago Cubs trailing Cincinnati in the third inning, 2-0. And they're threatening for more runs as they have 2 runners on in the top of the fourth with only 1 out against the Cubs. That game down at Wrigley. Kick, that ball goes out of bounds. Onside kick attempt that time, it looked like, by the Apaches. So the ball goes out of bounds, and that will give Tomahawk very good field position after that kick, but very little time to work with 32 seconds on the clock. They need a big play to head into halftime with a little bit of momentum. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line as Tomahawk has 32 seconds to try to develop some sort of offense against Auburndale. Auburndale has been extremely stout up front. Much larger on the defensive line is Auburndale than Tomahawk is on the offensive line. Bad snap, fielded well by Wenninger, who fires a pass out to Gersberger, and that is caught very close to the first down yard line. It looks like a first down for Tomahawk. Did not take much time, 28 seconds left on the clock. See if we get a measurement here, if they'll just field up. They're going to say first down. Weissman again headed off the field for Tomahawk. Going to see, I would think, passes galore here by Wenninger, who's back to pass again. And he is wrapped up in the backfield and sacked. Caleb David breaking through that time, and that will just about do it for Tomahawk as the clock ticks down to 6 seconds left, and Tomahawk will be resigned, probably just to let this time run off the clock. And Auburndale, what a half of football for the Apaches, up 35-0 at halftime. And again, recapping the scoring efforts. 37-yard touchdown run got things started with 7:50 left to go in the first quarter. That 37-yard run by Weister. Weister followed that up with a 1-yard touchdown scamper after equally impressive run in that drive got Apaches deep into Tomahawk territory. He ran that ball in with 2:44 left in the first quarter. A 70-yard touchdown run with 7:38 left to go in the second quarter for Auburndale by Weister. And then we had a couple passing touchdowns as well, including a 35-yard pass and catch from Weinfurter to Pawn. That all leads to a 35-0 score for the Apaches. We'll be back for the start of the second half here on the Zaleski on Focus Sports Network.
Wondering what to feed your team after work, the game, or this weekend? Chips Hamburgers in
back to Auburndale High School. It's 35-0, Auburndale on top of Tomahawk as we are at halftime. And during halftime, let's join Jason Zaleski with a Week 5 sports review.
Welcome to the Hillers True Value pregame show. Hillers is your Milwaukee Tool headquarters. Stop at Hillers now and get $100 off your next Milwaukee Tool purchase. No trade-ins needed, and Hillers will not be undersold.
And with us on the couch today is, we're going to have some fun. We're going to learn a little bit about you. Probably going to learn a lot about Marshall Tiger football and maybe some other things. Who knows?
Let's keep it at a minimum.
We'll see what we get into. So just starting off, Coach, people that are new to the audience or maybe new to Marshall Tiger football, how many years you've been coaching, and then what keeps you motivated to keep coming back?
This is my 25th year of coaching. I coached, I think this is my 8th, 9th, or 10th year, something like that, as head coach, but everything kind of melds together after a while. But I guess what keeps you motivated is we have a great staff and a great group of guys that are really loyal people and good friends of yours, so it's pretty easy to come back and be with the guys, so to speak. And motivation is just also, I'm a football guy and a teacher, so they go hand in hand. Teacher, coach, coach, teacher. I take my strategies of coaching into my classroom. I take my classroom strategies into coaching on the field. And it pretty much really revolves or evolves into, I really don't work ever a day in my life. And I've come to that conclusion. A lot of people tell you if you don't go to work and it feels like work, you're in your perfect job. And I think I have a perfect job. But it's a culmination of community in Marshfield, and it's a culmination of your friends. And the most important person in your life is your wife, and she's a football girl, and she loves it and keeps me motivated. And she's my rock, and she's the person that gives me information on how to find Zaleski Sports on the Facebook. How's that? Things like that. So yeah, the grandpa reference. Fan. Yeah, number one fan.
And then, speaking of that, so you said that you get to see those kids grow. So some of those kids that played youth football a number of years ago, they were juniors and seniors on the team last year. And that team last year, you started out 3-3, and then you just exploded. You won 3 in a row, combined score of 107-6 in those last 3 regular season games. How do you describe that difference from the first set of games for those next set?
Well, I mean, again, without going into a whole evolution of what you teach and what you coach, it's our culture, and it's the thing that our seniors did. Like I said, we talk culture all the time in our program, and we have our words that we live by, and we just had to start, going back and tapping into some of those words and dig down deep. And, we lost one of our best players that played for us in Quinton, and the kids rallied around and, let's do it for him and let's play for us and do the things that we got to do to make this ship, get righted. And then I go to my coaching staff, because our defensive coaches really dug down. I mean, there's a lot of things that change and evolve in a team and in a program. And when you lose somebody, you got to start, okay, what are we going to move to next? And Coach Len and Chris Berg and John Boyle, Matt Immerfault and Ben Corcoran, those guys, they put their heads together, and Lenny did something he's never done in his life, because he's a pretty rock solid defensive guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to beat you with what I do mentality. But he kind of said, once we lost a big cog in our system on defense, he just said, dudes, we're going to start doing a little bit different things. And he really opened up the can of blitz when we started going into our run, and 6 points, and you said 6. I didn't even know that stat, buddy. So it's kind of cool. But our dudes, and we ended up with an all-conference linebacker and an honorable mention outside linebackers. Yeah. I mean, and that all come from the scheme that was employed. And it's a big shout out to our defensive staff, Len, and all the guys that I mentioned before. But they made it happen, and I'm hoping that it carries over right now. I mean, we offensively this year, if we talk about stuff like that, probably in a second, but we can't move the football on our defense, and if the defense doesn't let anybody score, we can score 2 points, and they can score interceptions, and we can win football games.
Yeah,
so
increase your chances.
Yeah, man, defense wins championships, and you got to live by that. So that's what we're banking on, and hopefully it works out for us. So that was what got us in that big turnaround, and we built on something bad that happened to us, and we love our guys, and he got all fixed up. He's gone off to college in Winona, so he's good as he's ever been, and he's going to keep playing. I haven't talked to him since he went away. That was just on Sunday, but I'm sure we'll connect soon. But anyway, that's what did it for us, and we just went on a rampage, and we ran into a good team at Holman, and we lost our playoff game.
Yeah. So with that being said, so now you've got a group of juniors that turn into seniors, sophomores that turn into juniors, and they've got that playoff experience. We've moving into 2018 now. As these guys kind of come into this next year, we've got a whole group of live stream games that are going to be available all year, featuring Marshfield Tiger football. You can find those live streams on ZaleskiSportsShow.com or check out Facebook at Zaleski Sports. And then new this year, Coach, we've got a fall sports magazine, and we'll do those seasonally. But I'll kind of reveal the first cut of the magazine. This will be available at places all over Central Wisconsin, starting on August 16th and 17th at Baltus, Provision, and Heartland Co-op gas stations, and a whole bunch of other places. But right there on the first edition cover, I think you probably know that kid.
That's a pretty good one.
That's a pretty good one, huh?
That's a pretty good one.
So senior Ryan Krieger, talk about some of the other seniors on the team.
Well, I guess you got to talk about Ryan right away. I mean, talk about a dude he started for 3 years, and I knew the guy because he played baseball with my kids and all kind of youth football things, and he's one of those guys that was good enough to play up, was moved up in baseball things, and he's just really a diehard competitor, and that's a great thing to have as your quarterback. So you can give him duties to do, and he fulfills them and does them with great passion and all kinds of the things that you can put in the words for him. But he's a good one, and a really good one, and he's going to lead our team. There's no doubt. This year, I mean, we're doing a lot of things with him now because of the 3 years, and we put a bunch more responsibility on his shoulders. That things that he's going to do. I mean, he's going to be calling plays at the line of scrimmage sometimes, and when we're in a hurry-up offense situation, he's calling all the plays. So it's a big deal for him right now, and that senior leadership is shining through, and he's going to lead us, hopefully to a great record and hopefully into the playoffs. And now a new goal is get a playoff win. So it's been a while since we've had a playoff win in Marshfield, and we're trying. And we're not like we're saying, hey, I hope we do this and get lucky. But no, we got to get it done, and we're going to put the weight on his shoulders. But talking about some other kids, seniors, Brant Bowman He's a star in the state of Wisconsin right now. People know who he is. They know his name. I went to a camp with him this summer. We went to North Dakota, and people like him there and things like that. So he's making a name for himself, and he's going to be a good one. He's going to tote the rock, and he's going to get yards for us. But you also got to look at his other two buddies in the backfield for us, Caden Pierce and Isaiah Byroll. That'll be our complement of our three backs that are seniors. Mm-hmm. We have other juniors that are going to fill in and put some time in too. But talk about kids that are working hard and really quick and fast. And Isaiah's turned into a pretty good-looking fullback type deal. We don't call them fullbacks; they're two backs for us, but does a lot of different things. We're finding ways to get each guy the football. Well, there's three of them, and there's only one football plus Ryan Emick's 4-1. So, it's a tough thing. But our whole offensive line is going to be our road to the playoffs if we get there, and hopefully a conference championship first is what we're trying to get. But they're all seniors. We've got a whole load of seniors on the offensive line. They've been there before. They know what's going on. They're going to still make mistakes, even though they don't want to. They're still going to make mistakes, but doggone it, the probability goes way down when they're a whole bunch of seniors and have played for a couple years. So we're pretty excited about those guys. And Coach Hartwig, he lays down the line to those guys. It's you. It's what makes our team go. And he's done a great job. Him and Jimmy Sadowska is our JV coach, and they're both offensive line guys. So they work their tails off to get these guys ready. As you go further outside, our receivers, there's where we have one senior guy, Preston Wagner, and then Isaac Beverden, who started last year for us as well, junior. And then my son even made a chance to give himself a chance to play football this year. He's another receiver. And then Sam Hinson. And let's go. I got Mason Coffrin's another receiver. I'm trying to remember all the guys, but it gets to be a bunch. But we have a ton of good receivers, and it's kind of going to be fun. I looked at a set that we can put out on the field, and they're all 6'1" up to 6'4" receivers in one set. So hopefully they have some out there somewhere. They have shorter cornerbacks, and maybe we can take advantage of that. So that's going to be fun working with that kind of group of kids. Our defense, like I said, special defense, and Lenny and John and Matt and Ben Corcoran, those guys got a lot to work with, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Our defensive ends, try to get some guys' names. Stanek and Steins are two defensive ends for us, and Zamborski and the Kildall boys. There's two brothers. They're big kids, but they're juniors, which is nice, and some of the only juniors on the defense. You go to linebackers, Ben Gust, another junior. Yep. Alex Werman, and then our missile rocket, all kinds of crazy words you can put in his name. Bentley Schwanenbeck, our missile guy, he's all over the field. He's a guy that just makes every tackle that's out there, And we got some corners out there. Riley Bouchak is a corner, and you got Specht. Specht is out there. Then you go to Nolan Hurdle and Jackson Ott. That gives me a whole defense. And I struggled there, but holy cow, you guys can cut.
Nasonville Dairy, family owned and operated, bringing you fresh cheese.
set to kick off.
I can't see them.
So I'll teach you her. So, yep. What you want to do
Carter Wilcott.
is when they're going
Takes
this
the
way,
kickoff.
pretend there's a pretend there's a line right here,
All right.
and you want the ball to always be in this line. So as they run downfield,
Yeah.
you move the camera
25-yard line.
right here, and then this is the zoom control right here,
So you want the people to sort of, you know, so you can see what's in front of them or whatever.
where they're running.
Yep. All
So
right.
see the zoom control. So look. So what you want to do is find your zoom in and find your point, right?
When nothing is moving, then you just zoom in on the point, right?
Well, so I tell that's a good shot. You got the whole team in there.
Yeah.
And then once you see the play action, so now you see it's a running play. So then what I would do is just run.
Meister, the ball carrier.
Okay, try her out.
Cameron Olson.
I can't find the zoom though, so.
That's okay. Can't reach it, no big deal. We're good.
I can reach it,
Okay,
I just
my
can't
live?
see it. So I don't know what kind of.
Timeout, official timeout on the field.
Back to Auburndale High School, 35-0 as we get the second half underway. Auburndale's ball. First play from scrimmage was a run by
7 yards on
Trayton Weister, a run of 7 yards. Injured on that play for the Apaches was Travis Goetz, senior offensive lineman for the Apaches. Weinfurter back under center after a great first half by this Auburndale Apaches offense. And here's Weister. Look at the explosiveness in the open field. And Gersberger, that's the second time Gersberger has potentially saved a touchdown run by Weister as he hustled out there and made the tackle on Weister after another long gain and another Apache first down.
Tomahawk territory.
Marshfield and Spash, by the way, going into halftime of that game, Spash leading Marshfield 7-6. That game is at Beal Stadium in Marshfield. Marengo on top of Stratford. The last score we had there was 27-0 at the end of 3 quarters of play. Weinfurter under center, I formation with Marth the up back. Weister in the backfield. Here's a handoff to Marth, who rumbles his way right up the middle. And that looks like another first down for Auburndale, or extremely close. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Zaleski Sports on Focus Sports Network. Again, you can find these games on YouTube. You can also find highlights at Facebook/Zaleski Sports. It's going to be second and a very short one. Here's a quick pass. A quick hitter that time. It looked like Wilcott with that reception.
It's hard to sort of tell where the ball is some of these plays.
Wilcott has had a very nice night tonight on those quick slants.
Carter Wilcott, I believe, on that reception. That will be a first down for Auburndale.
Stratford Tigers come back to win 34-33 over Marengo.
24-yard line.
Final Stratford on a blocked extra point. So Marengo must have had a chance to tie, and Stratford blocked the extra point to hold that 34-33 advantage. So a nice comeback win for Stratford up in Stratford over Marengo.
Marth takes the handoff in the middle and works his way to the right side for 2-yard gain. Cole Feast in on the
Marth with a run of 2 that will bring up 2nd and 8, just underway here in the third quarter. Again, if you're just joining us, it was all Auburndale in the first half, 35-0 over Tomahawk. And a battle of 2 teams looking to get their first conference win in the Marawood Conference. Here's Weister. Look at him go, man, inside the 10-yard line.
Meister again hits the hole quickly and picks up another Auburndale first down.
Someone's cut their hand.
First and 10 for the Apaches at the 13-yard line of
actually at the 13-yard line. Weister has a very distinctive running styles. Auburndale's got some your typical thunder and lightning backs. Weister extremely quick. Marth more of a bruising runner. And Weinfurter, I'm telling you, has a very nice arm for a high school quarterback. Here's a handoff to Weister again. Finds a hole on the right side, but quickly closes. Nice job that time by Tomahawk. Second down and 8. 6:43 left to go in the third quarter. So this drive eating up a lot of clock for the Apaches. Again, I formation for Auburndale. Weinfurter back to pass. Rolls to his left. Looking. Ball is off the hands of Marth as Marth tried to make a one-handed catch that time. The ball thrown behind him a little bit. Could not get it. It was Fletcher Robb who was lined up as the wideout that time, and I believe that was the first option for Weinfurter as he rolled to the right. That'll bring up third down. 8 yards to go. Ball at the 11-yard line of Tomahawk. Cooper Weinfurter, the junior quarterback for the Apaches. Quick pass outside. Oh, it's dropped by Robb. Hit him right in the hands that time. He could not hold it, and then he paid the price as he really got rocked that time by the defensive back from Tomahawk, and Robb is definitely shaken up on that play. It was Wyatt Wenninger, the quarterback from Tomahawk, who actually applied that hit, and Robb is still shaken up. Training staff out there to take a look. As the training staff takes a look, we're going to take a break as well. It is 35-0 Auburndale on top of Tomahawk, and we'll be back right after this.
V&H Automotive serves Marshfield and central Wisconsin with new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram trucks. Our professional staff of factory-trained sales associates and parts and service personnel are here to serve you. Our business managers use more than a dozen lenders to ensure you the lowest rates anywhere. From Marshfield to Wausau, Wisconsin Rapids to Stevens Point, or Colby to Medford, we are a short drive from anywhere for friendly service and very competitive pricing. Come see V&H Automotive today. V&H Automotive serves Marshfield and central Wisconsin with new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram trucks.
Back to Auburndale High School. Robb was able to walk off under his own power, but he looked like he was in some pain after that big hit by Wenninger on the quick crossing pattern. Nice pass that time by Weinfurter, but led him right into that big hit and went right off of his hands. 35-0, 5:23 left to go in the third quarter, and it is 4th down and 8. Auburndale is going for it. They've got one slot receiver. That's Wilcott, and they've got Weister lined up and Peterson lined up as wideouts as well. Here's a run by Weinfurter. He might have crossed the line of scrimmage there. The pass is into the end zone and incomplete. And up by 35, there's a running clock right now, so the clock continues to tick down as Auburndale turns it over on downs. Up 35-0. I think it's a chance for Coach Anderson to work on a couple of things as they get set to head into the next part of their conference schedule. Again, Auburndale comes into this game 0-4. Of course, they're trending towards a victory today. That would move their record to 1-4. They will be playing Marathon next Friday night. That game is going to be right here at Auburndale. As Wenninger's back to pass thrown behind his intended wide receiver and incomplete. That will bring up a 2nd and 10. After Marathon next week, they'll play Stratford at Stratford on Friday, September 28th. They're going to play Shawamigan right here on October 5th and Whitehall on Friday, October 12th. And that game will be at Whitehall in a non-conference game.
Another score, Abbotsford leading Assumption 34-6.
Might have heard that announcement as Abbotsford's on top of Assumption tonight, 34-6. Abbotsford, a very good football team. Wenninger pass out to the wideout for Tomahawk. Cody Jablonski went off his hands. Wenninger does have a very good arm. Not a big kid as Wyatt Wenninger, 5'11", 170. He is a senior, has shown strong arm. Also a very good punter. He's had some really nice punts here tonight for Tomahawk, and unfortunately for Tomahawk, he's had plenty of opportunities to punt. 3 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Back to pass, Wenninger. That ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. We've got a flag on the play. Let's see what that flag's about. That could be a hold against Tomahawk. It's in that neighborhood, but that ball was tipped, and lucky to have that one fall incomplete, as there's a lot of blue jerseys from the Apaches all around that tipped pass. Blues talking it over, but Tomahawk's moving back, so I think that's going to be a hold. Going to be half the distance to the goal line.
Legal block called against Tomahawk. Shot block.
A chop block was actually the call. Auburndale will decline that to force fourth down and punting situation. And Auburndale's going to get the ball in very good field position after this punt. Both Pawn and Weister back to receive this punt. Wenninger is the punter, and he's going to be lined up receiving the snap in his own end zone. See if Auburndale applies some pressure here. Good snap. Punt is away. It's another booming kick by Wenninger, fielded at the 45 by Weister, who is rocked immediately. Teams work that time by Tomahawk, as Weister elected to field that line drive punt, and Jablonski was right on him. And Weister will actually come out of the ball game after that that punt. Wilcott runs off the field for Auburndale. Fletcher Rabb is lined up as the wideout on the left side. I formation, backfield for Auburndale. Leinferter hands it to the second back through. And again, that's Brent Lau getting some action. Up 35-0 with a running clock. 7 seconds left to go in the third quarter. I think there's a very good chance that might be the end of the ball game for Trayton Weister tonight, as he has carried the ball many times for many yards tonight. And that will wrap up the third quarter. No scoring in that third quarter. Auburndale still leads Tomahawk 35-0. Back for the fourth quarter right after this.
Here is the winning number 6. 8, 8, 2, 7, 2, 2. Again, that's 6, 8, 8, 2, 7, 2, 2. If you have the winning ticket, take it over to the table at the concession stand.
My name is Marissa, and I just finished my junior year in college. It's time for me to buy my first car before I start my senior year and before I start my career search. I clicked on an ad for Wheelers and found a car that was in my budget. I contacted the dealership, and they emailed me an appointment for test drive. Test drive day is here. The sales staff was helpful and made sure I was comfortable learning about the car. It only took a few minutes and my credit application was approved. Just a couple of quick signatures and a payment I can afford. My first time buying a car, and it was so simple.
Back to Auburndale High School getting set for the start of the fourth and final quarter of this Marawood Conference football game. Apaches, all Apaches tonight, 35-0 over Tomahawk.
Beginning the fourth quarter, then Auburndale has it down and 9 at Tomahawk's 44-yard line.
Looks like we might have a new quarterback in there. We'll see if we can get the number. Here's a pass up ahead. It's caught. New quarterback is Hunter Wright. He is just a sophomore. And he connects with Paul.
Five-yard gain on the play. Fourth down and short for the Apaches.
Looking to pin Tomahawk deep in their own territory. Gerstenberger is back to receive. This punt by Marth. Here's the snap. Kick is away, and it looks like an excellent kick. Bounces, and it's going to be down inside of the 1-yard line. What a job by Marth and the specials teams players from Auburndale as they're able to pin Tomahawk all the way back at the 1-yard line. Marth imparted a little side spin on that one. Didn't see who downed the ball, but excellent play by Auburndale. Last update we had tonight from Stratford was Stratford won in a thriller, 34-33 over Marengo of Illinois. Marengo scored a touchdown and then had the extra point blocked as Stratford was able to hold on for that win. Spash and Marshfield playing. Marshfield exceeding a lot of people's expectations, but they are in a dogfight tonight in Marshfield, losing 7-6 at halftime of that one. That's the last update we had from Beal Stadium. Here it's been all Auburndale. 35-0. 9:51 to go in this game, and it's a running clock, so it's going to take just about that much time. Second down, 11 to go, as Tomahawk is right at the goal line. Not a lot of space to move. Here's a run, and it's a nice run. Outside, Bemmister, the leading rusher for Tomahawk. He's up to the 35-yard line, across the 35. Ball comes loose, but he's able to recover it. So Bemmister with a 45-yard run. 36-yard run, I should say. If you're paying attention to the Brewers this year, again, a game and a half behind the Cubs. They are tied with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's come back to tie that one 3-3 as they're in the fifth inning. Last score I saw had the Cubs losing to the Cincinnati Reds 2-0. That was back in the third inning. Cincinnati now top of the sixth inning, still ahead 2-0. And again, Cincinnati threatening in the top of the sixth with runners on the corners with one down in that game. I'm a big fan of the Reds this week. Here in Auburndale, it's hot and muggy. Auburndale up 35-0 with ticking down to under 8 minutes left in this ball game. Tomahawk with a handoff. Bemmister around the left side. He's able to get some positive yardage, a gain of about 4.
carrier from the left side for a gain of about 4 on the play. It'll be third down for the Hatchet.
So that will bring up about 3rd and 6 as Tomhawk is looking to get off the schneid, as we say, and get on the scoreboard. Again, you're watching high school football on the Zaleski Sports on Focus Sports Network. You can see all the highlights at Facebook/Zaleski Sports. Nowhere to go for Wenninger, the quarterback. And that will bring up a 4th and 7. Loss of 1 on the play. 6:55 left to go in the game. Some backups getting some time now for Auburndale as some of their starters are out of the ball game with this big lead. Wenninger back to pass on a 4th and 7. 5-step drop down the field. It's a pass. It's almost tipped, but still caught by Jablonski. Just goes off of his hands. He had a chance, and if he would have caught that, he would have gone for 6, but instead it falls harmlessly to the ground, and turnover on downs back to Auburndale. Seen that play many times in the NFL and college where a defender gets his hand on the ball, tips it up, and the receiver stays with it, gets a big gain out of it, but that time it was not to be for Jablonski and Wenninger. Auburndale maintains the shutout. It's a point of pride for defenses. Starting quarterback and running back tandems are out now for Auburndale. It's Rabb as the wide receiver lined up on the near side. Here's a handoff up the middle. Hunter Wright is your quarterback, and he hands off to Paul Colrose.
It's a 5 on the play, 2nd down and 5.
Gain of 5. Can count on one hand probably the amount of negative yardage plays Auburndale has had tonight, as they've been continually coming up with positive plays with their running game. Here's Wright. Handoff. And strung up, and a loss on the play. Brent Lau, junior running back for the Apaches. And that will bring up a 3rd down and long. 3rd down and we'll call it 6 or 7.
Loss on the play. It's a 3rd and 8 now for Auburndale.
Right under center. Looking to convert on this 3rd down. It's going to be a handoff off the left side. Fighting for yardage is Caden Hoffman, and he's strung up, and that will bring up a 4th down. Probably a punting situation here, I would think.
One on the play. That will bring a 4th down for the Apaches.
4th and about 7. Marth trots back out there. His last punt from about the same spot, he was able to pin Tomahawk back at about the 2 or 1 yard line. Gerstenberger is back to receive. Gerstenberger with some good speed. We've seen that tonight, chasing down Trayton Weister a couple of times. Here's the snap. It's a good snap. Punt is away. It's a beautiful punt by Marth. It's fielded by Gerstenberger. Fair caught at about the 7 yard line. So clock continues to tick on this ball game. 3 minutes left to go.
Auburndale fans, and as the clock is winding down at the end of this game, would you please show your appreciation for the group that's been working hard all game? Doesn't matter the score. how hot or cold it is, they are working hard. And that's the Auburndale Youth Cheerleading Squad.
Auburndale Youth cheerleaders getting a big round of applause. Looks like we have a timeout by Auburndale. I think they had some personnel problems out there.
Timeout called by Auburndale.
They'll take a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. Back to Auburndale.
Property damage or loss is what Marshfield Insurance Agency is all about. We are the area's largest insurance agency. Family owned for more than 30 years. An independent agency, we represent more than 40 A-rated insurance providers for home, auto, business, health, life, and more. Contact Marshfield Insurance Agency for a free quote today.
Chili Implement, located just north of Highway 10 in Chili, is your place for Kubota zero-turn mowers. If your lawn is big or small, we have all the lawn care solutions for you. Check out our 60-inch deck. Kubota powerful, precise, proven. Chili Implement is your choice for Kubota, Case IH, and Gale. Chili Implement, open 6 days a week to serve you. Chili Implement.
Test. Jablonski with a run off the left tackle, and it's defended well by Auburndale. After the ball game, we'll see if we can grab Coach Anderson and at least one player out there. Here's Wenninger, reverse to Jablonski. And again, read well by Auburndale, and a nice open field tackle by Brent Lau. So Tomahawk is trying everything here in the waning moments to try to get a score. They're under 2 minutes to go in the game. Still 35-0. Auburndale has not scored here in the second half, but it certainly hasn't mattered. Defense has been stout. Gerstenberger is the wide receiver, lined up near side. Jablonski in the slot, near side. Back to pass, Wenninger. Throws outside. It's batted away. Oh, and some extracurricular activity there. Jablonski was the intended wide receiver. And a nice play by Hunter Goddard, junior cornerback for Auburndale, and after that play, Jablonski gave him a little shoulder block. A little frustration setting in for Tomahawk.
With 1 minute to play in the quarter.
Caden Hoffman is back to receive what he believes will be a punt. Across the middle, that pass is broken up nicely by Cody Trowbridge. And that's pretty much going to do it here tonight, as Auburndale goes on to win 35-0, taking down Tomahawk. Their first win in the conference, first win on the season, moved their record to 1-2 in the conference and 1-4 overall. Clock continues to tick down to under 10 seconds. We're going to head down the field, see if we can grab Coach Anderson and a player. Again, the final score of this one, Auburndale 35 and Tomahawk 0.
Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. All right, thanks for joining us. We will be going on a field momentarily to meet with Coach. All right, on the field with Coach Anderson. Coach, you came in without a win tonight, but you sure look like world beaters tonight. What was the difference tonight?
I think just being able to focus on play after play. We had a lead week one and really should have closed it, and we just didn't finish. We had opportunities week three, and we just didn't start very well. This game we got off on a good start, and we just really were able to make some plays. I think this is a game that we were just able to make some football plays, where in the past most of them would present themselves and we weren't making them. Today we made plays. We played with a lot of focus.
Thought your quarterback, Weinfurter, looked really good tonight, made some really nice passes, including a beautiful fade route down there that Pawn caught. Talk about what it meant to have him on the field tonight.
Well, having him throwing the ball like that and creating some problems with his feet also. He can roll out, and he got a big first down for us, I know, at one point in the first half. But as far as that touchdown pass to Pawn, that's just a perfect throw. He threw an out, I think, to Carter, another one, just a nice drop, get rid of the ball and on the money. So he made a number of throws there, which we really want to build on. And yeah, quite frankly, we could have used that a few weeks ago. Would have made a difference. But.
And finally, we're going to talk to Weister here in just a little bit, who had a big night on the ground, but kind of lost in all this is you guys controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Talk about the work that the big guys did inside.
Well, it really is something that we believe that could have been capable all year, and we just had it in spurts, and some of that's conditioning. Some of that is the fact that maybe these guys didn't quite do enough in the off season to get in shape, and right now we're getting there, and it's absolutely a big difference to have those guys to be able to put pressure on the quarterback, to close running lanes, and then to go out on offense and to be able to run our playbook the way we want. Leads, counters, counter boots. So for them to be able to control the line of scrimmage means everything.
All right, good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right.